is Daesha.
And my name's John.
And we're foster parents.
Our journey to foster care started a long time ago when we first met. Before we got married, we knew that we would adopt someday and had no clue that it would include being a part of foster care and that stuff.
So we taught overseas for a couple years and tried to adopt there actually, and the details never worked out quite right. And then when we came back to the States, we met a few families that did foster care and had adopted out of foster care. And also someone very close to us grew up in the foster care system, and her personal pain but the way God has redeemed her as an adult really inspired us to do some more research about foster care in the U.S. So we found a child placement agency called Hope and Home and really got excited about their mission and vision and how they do foster care and how they work with kids from hard places. Also the statistics, there are 500,000 children in the United States in foster care, and hundreds of those are in Colorado and in El Paso County and other Colorado counties.
Our first placement actually came from a treatment center, and he's now our son, and he had been in the foster care system for 7 years, and when we first heard about him, it's just sad because there are very few homes for these kids who have just been stuck in the system, and DHS has no place to put them. So like Daesha said, they get put in these modern day orphanages, treatment centers, group homes, and they really don't have, that stability of home, of parents, of family. And
an important thing to understand too is that kids aren't removed lightly. The kids who are in foster care are the worst of abuse and neglect. They're coming from really terrible situations. And so the hundreds that we have in El Paso County are the worst of the worst. And there's a lot of need out there, not only for foster parents, but for mentors, for agencies, counseling, therapies, church families. There's a big need for kids.
One of the things that couples have to face when going into foster care is just dealing with a lot of their own baggage.
Yeah, we all have wounds. Everyone's walking around with wounds, and when you work in foster care and you're faced with that level of human suffering, you really have to deal with your own stuff too. And so foster care, God has used foster care to really help us work on our own issues, our own sins, and our marriage, and I'm glad that we've had to deal with all of that. If we hadn't gotten into foster care, we may never have experienced the level of healing that God has brought into our lives, because as we help the kids heal. I have felt very confident along this road since we first started, because I knew that whatever God called us to, He would equip us. And we've been equipped practically and emotionally to handle this, and it's not because of any particular strengths that we've had in and of ourselves, but it's His power working through us. And I think when God calls you to something, He gives you the tools that you need to do it. And that's been our experience.
When we started training with our foster agency, the need to foster teens really got to us, and so that's why we mainly foster teens right now.
Which, when we first went into it, we told them we would only take children 10 and under with certain behavior issues being non-negotiable. But the more God worked on us, He called us to really open up, and then we became open to 0 to 18, no matter what their issues were. And now I've got 3 teenage boys, and I've worked with 2 others and several littles. So we adopted our son Kalani at the age of 15, and he's brought so much joy and hope into our lives. And he has grown amazingly himself, and I can't imagine our home without him. Don't misunderstand me, I'm not saying that we should say yes to everything, but I do think we should say yes to more things. And God has done so much in our lives and helped us grow so much because we said yes to something that we originally thought we couldn't do. In spite of my mistakes, my past, my inadequacies, my weaknesses, God uses me to do this. When I think selfishly, there's inconvenience in the world of foster care, a lot of paperwork, behavior issues, therapies, appointments, medical appointments. There's a lot to do. And so when I'm selfish, it can be inconvenient. But when I fix my eyes on Jesus, and I don't want to over spiritualize it, but I'm sure it wasn't convenient for him to be tortured and die on the cross for me. So perspective helps. And yes, our worlds change when a kid comes into our home in the middle of the night, but their worlds have been shattered. And so there again, perspective helps. And you learn to be flexible. And again, God equips you with all those tools to make it happen. And you can do more than you think you can do because of him.
And my name's John.
And I'm Daesha.
And I am a Trace.